Dear friends, in this video, I'm going to discuss Wole Soyinka's very interesting and famous play, The Lion and the Jewel. If you find the video useful, you please like and share among your friends and subscribe to our channel. The Nigerian playwright, poet, and essayist Wole Soyinka was born in 1934. He was born into a Yoruba family in Abeokuta, so that is in Nigeria. During his early days, he studied at Government College in Ibadan. Ibadan is a city in Nigeria. And later he went to University of Leeds, London. He worked for Royal Theatre for some time in London. He was the first African to receive Nobel Prize for Literature, which he received in 1986. He involved in politics. As a result, he was imprisoned for 2 years from 1967. He is not only a simple writer, he is an activist. Since he very actively involved in politics, at that time he was imprisoned. His important plays are The Swamp Dwellers, The Lion and the Jewel, A Dance of the Forest, Opera Vanyosi. Two of his novels are The Interpreter's Seasons of Anomy. So he is a person who has written so many plays, novels, and essays. So he is a multifaceted personality. The given work, The Lion and the Jewel, it was first performed in 1959. He dramatizes a day in the life of three Yoruba villages in Nigeria. The exact location of this play is, the setting is Illujinle. The structure of the play is, instead of act 1, 2, 3 or scene 1, 2, 3, he is following morning, noon, night. So here he is following the tradition of how a play should be written. So it covers the incidents that takes place within 24 hours. The unity of time is very beautifully followed by Wole Soyinka in this work. Right. The important characters. Lakunle, a young and arrogant school teacher, he is 21 years old. Baroka, the elderly chief, so he is also called as the whale. He is 62 years old. So both these people, they are in love with a girl, Sidi, who is 16-year-old girl. Sidi is called as the jewel of the village. So look at the title now, The Lion and the Jewel. The lion refers to Baroka, jewel refers to Sidi. So in the triangle love, who will win this hand of Sidi? So at the end of the play, it will be revealed. Then one more character, Sadiku. Sadiku is Baroka's head wife. So then what is the difference between head wife and the second one, Ailatu, the favorite wife? So you have to understand this play from African point of view. In Africa, polygamy is accepted. If a person is ready to accommodate any number of wives, that person is accepted. Provided you have to, that particular person has to take care of that wife. So there are more children, more wives. So the head wife is given like a queen, the importance like queen. So she will be respected as the husband himself. So Sadeku is the Baroka's head wife. Ailatu, favorite wife. Then though there are many wives, the last wife in the line can be called as favorite wife. So now we understand Baroka is already married. So marrying more number of persons is not a problem in African culture. So probably now the culture might have been changed slightly, but still polygamy is in practice in Nigeria. Well, now coming to the play, Baroka, the 62-year-old man, Lakunle, the 21-year-old man, are in love with Sidi, who will win the hand at the end. So now we are going to discuss chapter by chapter. Morning. When the play opens, the school teacher is teaching mathematics. The children are reciting mathematics tables so that the sound is heard. Then Sidi, the small girl, so that is the 16-year-old girl, she comes having a pail of water. Pail of water, it is a pot. Pot, it is almost full. She just very beautifully walks from one side of the stage. Then suddenly, the school teacher, Hearing the noise, he opens the window and looks at who is coming outside. So he finds out it is Sidi, his lady love. As a result, he immediately stops the lesson and he comes out and he goes nearby her and he takes the water in hand. So just imagine the situation. Sidi comes with a pot of water and Lakun comes and he takes the water. First, she refuses to give, but at the same time, by force, he takes it away, and in the process, he drenches himself. A small amount of water it spills on him, right? So very strongly he says, I have asked you not to carry water. So he is worrying because he says, if you carry loads on your head will be shortened. How does he say? Do you wish to look squashed like my pupils' drawings? So you might have seen how the children draw. When the children draw human beings, there will be one circle for head, so there won't be any body, just like a stick diagram, it will come. So like that he says, my children, my students are drawing in which there is no neck for human beings. Like that you also want to have a small neck. And one more thing, having long neck in African culture is beautiful. So that is the reason why he is insisting. So, so he is not married, but he is very possessive of her. Then he is trying to control her activity. Then next he finds fault with her dress code. So you know how the Africans they dress. They just their dress starts from their shoulders. Mostly they have bare shoulders in their dress. So now he says you have to cover the upper part also. Otherwise the men will be looking like that. See, first he said you should not carry water. Then second says that your dress code is not good. Many boys in this village, many men are looking in a lustful way towards you. So these two attempts of Lakon to control her makes her very much angry. Then in the course of conversation, he says that women have smaller brain. So according to science, the weight of women's brain that is a little bit less. So he quotes science in order to show his male dominance that women have smaller brain. So according to the research, human beings they do not use even the 3% of their brain. So that is different. Quantity doesn't matter. So then he calls her as weaker sex. Women are weaker sex like that. So when see so far he was talking about her, attacking her individually. Then she was responding to him. But when he says women are weaker sex, she becomes very angry. So immediately she replies like this: is it a weaker breed who pounds the yam or bends all day to plant the millet with a child strapped to her back? It is a very strong question asked by her. So first pound, see yam is a kind of grain. So it has to be pounded, right? As it is done with the rice. So if women are weaker sex, how can we do like this? And one more thing, many people when they work on the field, especially Africans, so they have their children at their back, carrying the small children at the back in this trap, and they are doing all the day planting work. So now Sidi asks, so are we weaker sex? If we are weaker sex, can we do all these works like that? See, from this we can understand the characteristics of Sidi. Sidi is playful, number one. Then she is very sensitive. Whenever somebody is trying to control her, so she does not accept it. And one more thing, she also keeps Lakun as her option. One more important aspect to be known while discussing the story is Baroka and Lakun. Baroka represents East and tradition, whereas Lakun represents West and modernity. The dress code of the people also represent the same. Baroka is in his traditional Nigerian dress. So whereas he is having the crown, all these things. Whereas Lakun, he is wearing a dress which is not suitable for him. He has a long coat and a big pant which is not suiting him. That means the West does not suit the native people. Please remember, Lakun belongs to Nigeria, the same village, but at the same time, The tradition he accepts, the culture he accepts, the language he accepts, the religion he follows, that belongs to the West. He is an English teacher. That is the very base of westernization. And he is following Christianity. He is reading Bible. So all these things. So the way of life of Lakoon represents the West. He is for modern civilization, modern development, and scientific advancement. So now, when the play progresses, so during the course of the conversation between Sidi and Lakoon, Lakoon makes a proposal. So this is not the first proposal. Repeatedly, he is making proposal to Sidi, but at the same time, Sidi demands bride price. So bride price is the important thing on which the entire play is set. In India, we have dowry system. When a girl and boy get married, the girl's family, bride's family has to pay the bridegroom's family. Whereas in Nigeria and in other African countries, it is just the opposite. If a man wants to get married, he has to pay the money to the girl's family so the marriage will take place. If a girl does not get bride price, that means that girl is not chaste. I repeat, if a girl is not receiving bride price from the person whom she is going to marry, then that means she is not virgin or she is not chaste. So this is the idea. So Siddhi says, so I will not accept for marriage unless you pay the bride price. Whereas Lakoon says the custom of bride price is savage, uncivilized. So all these things. So I will not pay the bride price. So just Lakoon is true to his principle, whereas Sidi is true to her principle. Now Lakoon says that he predicts that there will be a machine to pound yam and pepper. So according to Lakoon, the women are wasting their time and energy in doing household work. So very soon there will be machines to do all these works. So here also the writer Wole Soyinka points out Lakoon belongs to the modernization and Western civilization. Then afterwards, very often, whenever Sidi talks about the marriage, he is quoting from Bible. For example, he says, "Charity begins at home. A prophet has honor except in his own home." So this has the biblical allusion. Once Jesus Christ, after preaching in different places, he comes to his native place to preach. When he is about to preach, the other people, his relatives say, "We know him. He belongs to this family. His father is a carpenter. His mother is a she." So all these relatives we know. So how can a person like good person can come from Nazareth? The Nazareth is the native place of Jesus Christ. So at that time, Jesus Christ says, "A prophet has honor except in his own home," saying that he goes away. So now, please make a note of it. Lakoon tries to say, Lakoon considers or compares himself to Jesus Christ. Even Jesus Christ did not get respect in his native place. Like that, you people also do not understand my worth in this village. Like that he says. Then afterwards, he quotes from Bible, "And man shall take the woman, and the two shall be together as one flesh." So this is the quote from Bible again. Again, this is the particular line which is used by the Christian priest during the Christian marriage. So after this only he'll be going for asking. So well, to conclude this particular page. So from this, what do we understand? Sidi does not deny marriage, but at the same time she demands bride price for her marriage. Whereas Lakoon tries to convince her not to accept bride price because according to him it is an outdated custom, old custom, it is a savage custom. He is quoting from Bible and he is referring to Jesus Christ, but in spite of that she is not ready to accept that you pay the bride price. Then a few more interesting passages and important passages from the book. He promises to her. So one more important thing in Nigeria, the women or the wives are not given importance by the husband. Whereas he says, if I marry you, so I will ensure you have all these rights. What are they? When we are wed, you shall not walk or sit tethered as it were to my dirtied heels. So here in African culture, the woman, the wife cannot sit nearby the husband. When the husband is sitting on the chair, the wife has to sit nearby the feet. But he says, Lakun says, you need not sit like that. Together we shall sit at table, not on the floor and eat, not with fingers, but with knives and forks and breakable plates like civilized beings. So here first two are okay. We'll be sitting on the table. Then afterwards he says, we will not eat with fingers, but we will eat on breakable plates like civilized beings. This can be considered as a pseudo civilization. So eating with fingers and eating on the brass plate, it is not bad. Then I will not have you wait on me till I have dined my fill. So another thing is, women are not allowed to eat until the husband completes eating. No wife of mine, no lawful wedded wife shall eat the leavings of my plate. That is for the children. So again, here he says, you will be eating with me, but at the same time, the children will be given the leftover, but you can eat with me. I want to walk beside you in the street, side by side and arm in arm, just like the Lagos couples I have seen. Lagos is the city in Nigeria, right? So here one more thing, the wife cannot walk nearby the husband when he walks on the street, whereas she has to walk behind the husband. Behind her there will be children, but at the same time he says, like a civilized couple will go hand in hand. Then high heeled shoes for the lady, red paint on her lips, and her hair is stretched like a magazine photo. So now he says, these are the things I'll be doing. You can wear play lipstick, and you can wear high heel shoes, and your hair will be straightened. All these things. So now these are the promises of Lakun to Sidi. Also saying all these things, he is trying to persuade her to marry him without bride price. But Lakun says, Sidi, my love will open your mind like the chaste leaf in the morning. Then Sidi, if you start that, I will run away. Dear Lakun, if you he is talking with all the love. Whereas she says, if you talk like that, I'll be running away. I had enough of that nonsense yesterday. Yesterday also you spoke like that. So when she said, your talk is nonsense, Lakun couldn't control himself. Nonsense, nonsense. Do you hear? Does anybody listen? Can the stones bear to listen to this? So he couldn't believe himself. Do you call it nonsense that I poured the waters of my soul to wash your feet? It's a very beautiful language by Wole Soyinka. So he considers his words of water of my soul to wash your feet, everything gone wasted. You did what? Lakun, wasted, wasted. Sidi, my heart burst into flowers with my love. But you and the dead of this village trample it with feet of ignorance. Very beautiful comparison. Here Lakun says, I gave the love in the form of a flower, but you and your village people, you have stamped on it, stamped on it. See, just imagine the boy is giving a rose to a girl as a form of proposal. She throws it and damages it. Exactly, that's what happened. Sidi, if the snail finds splinters in his shell, he changes house. Why do you stay? It is a kind of insult to Lakun. She says, if the snail, you might have seen the insect snail. So it has got its own shell. When the shell has got a small damage, the snail will go away. So indirectly, she is saying, even a snail, if there is a damage to its house, it will be going away from that. But I have been insulting you, but you are not listening to me, you are following me like that. So here he is pointing out the universal truth. When a person is in love, that person's sixth sense will not work. So, but some people they say beautifully, love is a kind of seventh sense which prevents all the six senses from working. Like that, Sidi, though she is rejecting him repeatedly in the name of bride price, so Lakun is not ready to give her. He just follows. Then this is the promise of Sidi. I shall marry you today, next week, or any day you name, but my bride price must be paid. Please note the point. She is not disliking Lakun, but at the same time she says, I am ready to marry you, but at the same time my bride price should be paid. For which Lakun says, ignorant girl, can you not understand? To pay the bride price be to buy a heifer of the market stall. So here getting a bride price means, so I pay some money by buying heifer, a calf, small cow. So am I buying you? He's saying. So exactly that's what happening in India. In India, the girl's family pay the money and buy the boy. Whereas in African family, if we take that comparison, the boy is paying the money and buying the girl. Then, in the course of the conversation, he makes a reference to Lagos, Ibadan. I hope you remember what is Ibadan. Ibadan is the place where Wole Soyinka was born. He says, I will make you like women who are very good in Lagos and Ibadan. So very simply she replies, if you want women from Lagos and Ibadan, you go and marry. Why do you disturb me? Then afterwards he kisses her, for which she replies that she dislikes this and this unhealthy mouthing. So here, when he is trying to follow the Western way of loving, she rejects. Even he says that Christians kiss their wives like this and that. But she says it is unhealthy. You please leave me. So when the conversation is going on, a group of dancers enter. One more thing, Wole Soyinka's dramas are known for their dances and song. Song and dance are the constant themes of Wole Soyinka's play. Then a girl brings a photograph. Then the photograph, a magazine in which there is a photograph. So then she conveys, a stranger has come in a new horse which has two legs. New horse which has two legs, which means a bike. So now the girl who has entered, she is making a reference to a third person who has come to the village in a bike. And he has one night box. One night box refers to the camera. So earlier in the story, what happened? A man has come and he took the photograph of Sidi, and that those photographs are published in the magazine. So the girl has brought that magazine and she informs Sidi that the man who took the photograph has come to the village. You please come. Then all the three they leave. The boy, that is Lakun, the newcomer, and Sidi, they are going. So at that time, when she is turning the pages of the magazine, so she has three pages, front page and the center page. Center page, two leaves, both sides. Whereas Baroka's photograph is found nearby the toilet. Please make a note of it. When Baroka's photo is found nearby the toilet, Lakun becomes very angry. Sorry, very happy. He says that finally the bale has been outstripped by a woman like that. Then Lakun is talking about divine justice. So Bale Baroka, he is not respecting anyone. Finally, he is defeated by a girl. That is the poetic justice. Then, after seeing the photograph, she becomes very excited, and now she tells Lakun, "In fact, I am not sure I will want to wed you now." The reason why she is saying that, he is shocked. He shouts, "Sidi, well, why should I? Known as I am to the whole wide world, I would deem in my worth to wed a mere village school teacher." So now she says, and one who is too mean to pay the bride price like a man. So, a very open statement she has made. So, I don't want to marry you now because I have become very popular. I will get more husbands, no problem, more options I will have. So, why should I marry you who refuse to pay the bride price like a man? If you are a man, you pay the bride price. Then after that, she becomes a little bit narcissistic. Narcissistic means one who praises himself or herself. So after seeing the photograph on the magazine, she turns the pages, admires her beauty, and she just shouts, "Hooray! I am beautiful! Hooray for the wandering stranger!" And one more thing she says, "I am the beauty beyond goddess. I am the beauty beyond goddess." So now from this we understand Lakun's proposal is almost rejected, but it is not denied. Sidi, at the beginning, she was a playful and self-respectful girl, whereas now she has become a kind of narcissistic person after seeing the photograph. How does Sidi undergoes the metamorphosis? That is the transformation. That is after seeing the picture. Then a mime takes place. So you are at that time they are performing a mime in which the four girls they act like a car and they need a stranger. So the stranger for which no man is available. So he is asked, Lakun is asked to play the role of the stranger and he is given a bottle in hand. Lakun says, "I do not drink." So now the girl Sidi is making fun of him. Yes, you do not drink because your grandfather drank for the entire generation. It so happened Lakun's grandfather was a drunkard. He died of drinking. As a result, she is making fun of him, saying that your grandfather drank for the entire generation of your family. That is number one. Number two, he says he refuses to do. I'm not the new person. But at that time, so this is the master piece of Wole Soyinka. Through the girl, Wole Soyinka conveys that you dress like him. That is, Lakun is dressing like the Western man. You look like him. You speak his tongue. You think like him. You are just as clumsy. See, the Western people believe that they are superior. But Wole Soyinka conveys that you are clumsy in your Lagos ways. You will do for him. So now Lakun is forced to perform the role of a stranger in that mine. So now just let me explain what happens in the mine. The four girls they form as wheels tires of the car. So the car moves, and inside that, Lakun is there. Suddenly, the car stops. Lakun opens the door and he comes up. He checks the tire. Afterwards, he finds it is flat. Then he takes the bottle and he drinks and he just throws the bottle in one side. So when he throws the bottle, from there, a girl's shout comes. Then he looks here and there. Afterwards, he does not find. Then he just goes in the car. This is one side. Then afterwards, Sidi emerges from there. Sidi emerges. Then she complains. Afterwards, Lakun is tied in a tree. So now, what is represented on the stage as mime is the incident that happened in the past. In the past, what happened? The only one change is instead of Lakun, the stranger, the photographer, earlier he came to the village in a car. He threw a bottle. It hit the head of Sidi, and afterwards he was found and he was tied. And Baroka was brought to give judgment, like Natame. Then he finds what is there. He says, "I'm a cameraman. I can take photograph and publish in the magazine. Your village will become very popular." This and that he says. Then afterwards it is allowed. He takes the photograph of Sidi. So one picture that is published in this magazine is she points out towards the sun, right? She points out towards the sun. So the girls describe that it is as if the sun has fallen in love with the beauty of Sidi, like that, right? So the entire thing has been recalled. Then there is a reference to organ. Organ is the spirit of metalwork or god of metalwork as well as the rum making. Then Baroka enters. The mime is not over. So Baroka. So when the mime is taking place, suddenly the real Baroka comes. Please make a note of it. The girls they started performing their mime. So in which, as a character, Baroka also has to come. But in reality, Baroka has come. When the Baroka comes, so everyone stops. Everyone is freezing on the stage except Lakunle. Lakunle does not give respect to the Baroka. Baroka, the village chief, according to Nigerian culture, they used to bow and respect the village chief. But whereas he represents the West, so he does not respect. So now Lakunle is addressed by that Baroka like this. Mr. Lakunle. So see deliberately Baroka uses wrong English. So that is to convey that it is a kind of subjugation of language. The writer Wole Soyinka conveys how the West can be wrongly assumed by the East. Then the performance, everything finishes and everyone goes away. Finally, the Baroka says at the end of the first scene, 5 full months since last I took a wife. So from this we understand Baroka is getting ready for the marriage. So 5 months is a longer period of time for him. So that means he has more number of wives. For the last 5 months he did not marry anyone. Now he wants to marry someone new. With that, the first scene gets over. Morning gets over. To sum up the first part, the entire people, all characters are introduced. The Lakunle and the relationship between Lakunle and Sidi is also introduced. And Baroka's wait for somebody's marriage. The important thing, the transformation of the character of Sidi. Sidi from a timid girl, active girl to a girl with full thought about her future. So now she wants to end her life in a great way. Now we are moving to the second part of the drama. It is titled as Noon. It takes place near Marketplace. When the scene opens, Sidi admires her beauty, referring to the pictures found on the magazine. She just looks at the picture and she touches her body. She enjoys her beauty found on the magazine. Then Sadiku comes as a messenger from Baroka. Already you know Sadiku is the head wife of Baroka. One of the important cultural aspects of Yoruba culture is when the leader, that is Baroka, feels that he wants to marry someone, the head wife will go and collect the suitable bride for the husband. So, which is having a strong contrast to Indian culture. In India, monogamy is practiced, that is, one is to one husband and one wife. Whereas in Nigerian culture, one husband, more wives will be there. That is polygamy. Here, it is though the husband has more wives, the responsibility of the head wife is finding new wives to the husband. So, as part of this cultural practice, Baroka is seeking marriage of Sidi. As a result, Sadeko, the head wife, carries the message of or marriage proposal of Baroka to Sidi. Then, when she comes, she just explains, "My husband wants to marry you." So, it is a shock for Sidi. Sidi says, "I cannot marry you. Marry your husband." She shows the magazine and tells her to compare. Whereas she compares her beauty to the soft nature. Whereas the nature of Baroka is, or the skin of Baroka is like torn leather piece. So my beauty cannot join that old man. So when she says that, Sadeku couldn't believe that because nobody so far she has collected so many brides for her husband. Nobody denied a marriage with her husband. So then when these two women are talking, Lakun comes there. So he realizes the danger. Immediately he wants both Sidi and he asks her not to go. Then he asks Sadeko not to involve in such a dirty business. Then again Lakun proposes to Sidi because he finds a competitor in the form of Baroka. So as a result, now he wants to change the mind of Sidi. He wants an assurance from Sidi. So like as it is found in English movie, in English custom, he just kneels in front of Sidi and proposes that he wants to marry her. Then he kisses her hand. So then he tells all the names from Bible like my Ruth, my Rachel, Esther, Bethsheba. See, these are the names or strong women found in Old Testament. So when he is trying to convince Sidi with these names, she replies that don't call me with all these funny names. So here she asserts herself as an individual and strong woman. Then afterwards, Sadeko gives the details of the advantage of being the last wife of Baroka. Here I'd like to point out one of the important cultural aspects in Nigerian culture. When the Baroka marries so many persons, so when the Baroka dies, the last wife of the Baroka will become the head wife of the next chief. Please make a note of this particular point. When a Baroka dies in African culture, that is especially in Nigeria, the last wife of Baroka will become the head wife of the next Baroka. Who will become the next wife or who will become the next Baroka? It will be the son of the existing Baroka. So that means when the present Baroka dies, so one more promise made by Baroka is I will not marry again. That means you will be my last and favorite wife. So when I die, so you will become the wife of my son, that is the head wife of my son, then you will get lot of respect. Here it is, the important thing is Sadeko tries to convince Sidi about the possible respect she may earn in the society. Then one more detail she gives, that is, I was the last wife of the previous Bale. Then I became the head wife of the present Baroka. I have been respected in the society. So first, she just carried the message. Second, she details the advantages of being the last wife of the present Bale, that is Baroka. But still, Sidi is not yielding to the request of Sadeko. When Lakun tries to convey Sidi, saying this and that from Bible with high sounding words, Sidi suddenly snatches her hand away and she makes the statement like this. Now that is your other game, giving me funny names you pick up in your Richard books. This is the line that is the very serious criticism against the West. For Christians, names from Bible are holy. Whereas the girl says, through the girl, Wole Soyinka says, you are giving me funny names. Then from your wretched books. See, for a Christian, Bible is the holy book. Whereas Wole Soyinka terms Holy Bible as wretched book. So it is the strong reaction of the East against the West. Very strongly she asserts, my name is Sidi and now let me be. My name is Sidi and I am beautiful. The stranger took my beauty and placed it in my hands. Here it is. I need no funny names to tell me of my fame. Loveliness beyond the jewels of a throne. That's what he said. So here very strongly she emerges as the individual and she does not need anybody's praise. That's what she says. So now Sidi realizes her own value and her own beauty. As a result, she decides not to yield to the different actions of Lakun. In the course of the conversation, Lakun finds fault with Baroka for stopping the railway line. See, please understand one more thing. Lakun represents the West, modernization. Baroka represents the East, tradition. So it is a very direct attack on Baroka. So once there was a proposal for the railway track, whereas it was stopped by Baroka. This is the serious accusation towards Baroka. So at that time, there is a mime. This is the second mime that takes place. So a group of dancers come and they perform the mime. So what happens there? A surveyor, like engineer, a land engineer, surveyor comes to lay railway track, right? So the railway line comes towards or comes across Illujinle. So at that time, Baroka comes and see all these things are performed on the stage without any dialogue. Baroka comes, then he bribes them with cola nuts, goat, and money, palm wine, and a woman. So, including that, he bribes the surveyor. So, after getting the bribe, the surveyor goes for his machine and measures the land. Then he gestures that this land is not suitable for laying the railway track and he shifts the railway line. So, now showing that Lakun says, it is your husband who stopped the railway track from coming to our place. So if the railway track has come, so definitely the civilization will come. We'll get more contact. As a result, so our city, our village will be developed. So why he stopped that? If the modernization and knowledge comes to our village, definitely he cannot enjoy his own life as the leader. That is the reason why Baroka stopped the railway track. So this is the serious attack on Baroka, which is denied by his head wife Sadiku. The scene shifts from the market to Baroka's bedroom. There, Baroka is lying on the bed. His favorite wife, Ailatu, is plucking the hair from his armpit. So she is the current favorite wife. I use the term current favorite wife because normally the last wife of Baroka will be the favorite wife. Why she is current? Because if he marries again, her position will be outside the house in a separate hut, whereas the latest wife will be living with him in the house. So that is the reason why I said Ailatu is the current favorite wife. At that time, Sadiku enters. She carries a message from Sidi. She conveys to Baroka that so he will not be she will not be the wife of Baroka. It is a shock for Baroka. So anyhow he couldn't showcase that. He just receives the message. Now please understand. Earlier Sadiku was sent by Baroka asking Sidi's acceptance for marriage. So earlier, when she made the proposal, either she was asked to be the wife, or at least she was asked to come for the dinner. But when she comes, Sadeko tells the husband she will not be neither of that. Neither of that means she will not be marrying you, number one. Number two, she will not come for the dinner also. Then immediately Baroka calls Sadeko as faithful wife and reveals that he has lost his manhood. It is good Sidi refused the marriage. So please make a note of it. This is the point from which the entire drama is built on. Please make a note of it. Sadiku was sent as a messenger from Baroka asking the hand of Sidi for marriage. She refused. When the message is conveyed to Baroka, Baroka says it is good Sidi refused for the marriage because hereafter I cannot marry anyone because I have lost my manhood. I am unfit for marriage. So now in a very sad tone, the husband is telling the wife, I cannot marry anyone hereafter because I have lost my manhood. But at the same time, he feels that he is only 62, which is too early to become impotent. Then he says, grandfather had two sons at the age of 65, and my father Okiki, his father had two girls at 67. He's talking about his own parents and grandparents. They had the children at the age of 67, but at the same time, I have lost my manhood at the age of 62. It is too early, like that he regrets to the wife. So this is the statement exactly made by Baroka. How irritable I have grown of late, such doubts to harbor of your loyalty. Your loyalty he is referring to Sadiku, the faithful wife. Who is the faithful wife of Baroka? That is Sadiku. But this disaster is too much for one. Check thus as I upon the prime of youth. That reigns that blessed me from my birth number a meager 62. In 62 itself I have lost myself, while my grandfather, that man of take, fathered two sons late on 65. See, his grandfather fathered two sons at the age of 65. But Okiki, my father, beat them all, producing female twins at 67. The father of Baroka is Okiki. Why then must I, descendant of these lions, forswear my wives at a youthful 62? Youthful 62. My veins of life run dry, my manhood gone. So this is the confession made by Baroka to his wife. And also he warns her not to reveal this secret to anyone. So with that, the second scene is over. So what important development has taken place? Sidi is asked for the marriage, but she has denied. And also one very important thing is Baroka reveals to his wife that he has lost his manhood. It is better Sidi denied that marriage. Now scene 3. So again the scene opens in the marketplace. Sidi stands nearby school window admiring her beauty. In the last two scenes, she has been admiring her beauty carrying the magazine. Sadiku immediately comes. She comes secretly looking from one place to another. She takes out carved figures of Baroka and dances with Joyce. Please try to imagine the situation. Sadiku comes secretly to the center of the market. He looks here and there, and she opens a bundle, and from there she takes one small wooden statue. That wooden statue is the statue of her husband Baroka. Then immediately she starts laughing, and she just dances around it. So this scene is watched by Sidi. Sidi comes and asks, "What happened? Why are you dancing like this?" Then again she says that we women have won. It is the victory of entire women folk in the village. Then she reveals the secret. What is the secret revealed? Baroka has lost his manhood. Then both the women, they just start dancing. Then Sadeko makes one statement: "I ate him up. I ate him up. Race of mighty lions, we always consume you. At our pleasure we spin you. At our whim we make you dance. Like the foolish top you think the world revolves around you. Fools, fools! It is you who run giddy, while we stand still and watch and draw yours." Please make a note of it here. Sadeko compares her husband and the entire men folk to top. You know top, the children play. When the top is rotating on the surface, it just shakes its, the head of the top is rotating. At that time, the foolish top thinks the entire world is running around it, whereas it is not the world that is running around, it is the top that is running around. Like that, the men think the women are going around them. But Sadiku says it is not so. We make you to go around us. So now Sadeko celebrates the loss of manhood of her husband. Now, one important thing to be noted in the previous scene, when Baroka revealed that I have lost my manhood, she immediately says that, so God forbid. God forbid. She closes her ears and says, God forbid. God, why you have done that? Like that, she was making statement against God. But now she is celebrating. What does it convey? So far, she was experiencing only subjugation. The women were subjugated by the men folk in Nigeria. When there is an occasion like this, when she understands the husband has lost his manhood, she considers it as her victory. As a result, she is celebrating it. So this shows there is not cordial relationship between the husband and wife, whereas for the sake of the society, for the sake of the practical aspect, for the sake of survival, the wife is accepting all the activities of the husband. From this, we understand so far Sadeko did not go and collect the brides willingly. She had to do it because of the cultural aspect. Then at that time, Lakun enters. Lakun is worried why these two women are doing like this. When he realizes, when he understands the secret, he is very happy because why he becomes very happy? Because one competitor who was in the race of marrying Sidi is ruled out now. Now he is very much happy. Then Sadeku calls Lakun as scarecrow. Scarecrow, in the field, in order to get rid of birds, a man-like statue with a cloth will be made, So that is a scarecrow. So now the dress that is worn by Lakoon is referred to scarecrow. That means the Western dress, the Western ideology is not at all suitable to the East. That is the point arrived here by the writer. When these two women, Sadeko and Sidi, are talking about the loss of manhood of Baroka, suddenly an idea occurs in Sidi's mind. Now Sidi wants to go to Baroka's house as a repentant child for rejecting the marriage proposal of Baroka, so that now she wants to see the inability of Baroka's marriage. So now try to get the point clear. Sidi, now she realizes that because of the loss of Baroka's manhood, he cannot harm Sidi. So she wants to go to Baroka and propose to him as to get married, so that Baroka will reject, no, no, I don't want to get married. She wants to enjoy that defeated moment of Baroka. When Sidi gives her plan to Sadeko, Sadeko wants her, you please don't ridicule him too much. He is a very wise man. He may find out that you have come there only to ridicule him. So at that time, he may harm you like that. At the same time, Lakun wants her. Lakun tries to stop Sidi from going to Baroka's house because Baroka is a strong man. He may harm you like that. But without worrying about Sadaiku and Lakun, she goes there. So at that time, Sadaiku tells Lakun, at this moment, you are better off just supping with the lion. Supping means eating. So now, though Lakun does not like Sadaiku, he is very much happy about this statement because she makes a reference to Sidi as your betrothed. Both of you are engaged like that. He gets a sense of happiness regarding that statement. Then Sadaiku advises Lakun, why don't you do not do what other men have done? Take a farm for a season. One harvest will be enough to pay the price, even for a girl like Sidi. Or will the smell of the wet soil be too much for your delicate nostrils? This is one of the cultural aspects of Nigeria. In Nigeria, as mentioned earlier, men are expected to pay the bride price for the marriage. But at the same time, if a man works hard on the field, For one season, he can earn much even to pay the bride price like a very costly girl like Sidi. But at the same time, Lakun rejects saying that I don't want to pay the bride price, I want to abolish this system. Then he details about his plan for the village. Please make a note of it. Lakun, as a modernized man, as the representative of the West, he has some plans for the village so that everything will be transformed in the village. The given passage gives a detailed account of Lakun's vision for the village. He tells this to Sadeko. He says, within a year or two, I swear this town shall see transformation. Bride price will be a thing of forgotten, and wives shall take their place by men. A motor road will pass this spot and bring the city ways to us. So far, no problem. All these things are positive Western influence. Then we'll buy saucepans for the women. Clay pots are crude and unhygienic. No man shall take more wives than one. So here in the entire passage, you can divide in two ways. One is positive Western influence. Another one is negative, pseudo Western influence. For example, eating only in the clay pots is very good. Saucepans is very good. That cannot be accepted. No man shall take more wives than one. So that can be a positive influence. The ruler shall ride cars, not horses, or a bicycle at the very least. Will burn the forest, cut the trees, then plant a modern park for lovers. This is a pseudo westernization. So in the West, Wole Soyinka says unnecessarily they have cut more trees to have parks. Will print newspapers every day with pictures of seductive girls. This is also a negative Western influence. The world will judge our progress by the girls that win beauty contests. It is also one of the negative Western influence. While Lagos builds new factories daily, so this can be a positive influence. Where is our school of ballroom dancing? Who here can throw a cocktail party? So far, when he is narrating all these things, certain things are positive and certain things are negative. So in total, if you weigh the positive and negative, mostly Lakun's vision for the villages, mostly it is false. It is a kind of negative influence. Through this passage, the writer tries to convey the Western influence will do more harm than the positive things it brings to the East. And one more thing, when Lakun is talking about his vision like this in full form, behind him, Sadiku, she goes off the stage. So after saying that, when he turns back, he finds no one and he realizes that he was talking to himself, not to Sadiku. Then the scene shifts. It opens in Baroka's house. When Sidi enters, Baroka is playing wrestling with a man. Then, when she enters, he pretends that he does not look at him. Then she goes there. Then he continues to ignore her. See, the expectation of Sidi was when she entered, she will be received well, she will get a warm welcome like that. But contrary to that, Baroka continues to ignore her. Finally, he calls her as my child. Then after the when the wrestling match is going on, Sidi says that the other man will win. So finally, he Baroka throws the wrestler and he wins. After the wrestling match, both of them they go for arm fight. In that also during that time, Sidi says this time that man will win. Then Baroka asks, "Is that a wish, my child?" But again Baroka wins. So now afterwards the man leaves, the wrestler leaves. Then Baroka shows all the great things that are kept on the walls of his room. So there are the heads of lion, there are the heads of tigers. So according to African culture, if a man kills a wild animal, The head of that will be embalmed and it will be kept on the wall, so that it is an indication of the bravery of that man. When Baroka points out all these animals' head and skin, then Sidi just like that ridicules him. Even marketplace has got all these things. Then why do you show it to me like that? She she has come for only ridiculing him, so she does that beautifully. But Baroka is not provoked by these type of things. Then finally, Baroka shows a stamp. He takes an envelope and shows it to her. So do you know what is that? Baroka asks. Then Sidi replies, yes, I have seen. It is stamped. I have seen these type of stamps in the letters received by Lakun. So immediately he is disappointed. So because she knows more things like that he thinks. But at the same time, he shows her a machine that can print stamps. Please try to concentrate on this particular point because this is the climax. He shows the stamp machine and tells her that I'm going to print a separate stamp for our village. So that village normally other pictures like animals, birds, nature will be printed on the stamp. Whereas for the first time, I am going to print your face on it. So when she heard that, she becomes very happy. Then even he goes to the extent of asking her, is that a burden, my child, to you? Then she is awestruck because he says, your face will be carried across the world. It will be showing the beauty to the entire world. So when he is talking about this and that, praising her beauty and her contribution to the village, then she becomes very happy. Then afterwards, he shows a plan, a model of the bridge. Earlier, Lakun told everyone that Baroka is against the railway track, he is against modernization. Whereas he shows that, so I'm a model so that this bridge, when this iron bridge is constructed, that will be the biggest bridge in the country that will connect so many places. Then will you be part of this mission with me? So when he asked like that, so finally Sidi couldn't say anything, and she just wonders at the knowledge of the old man. Then finally Baroka says, the old must flow into the new Sidi, not blind itself or stand foolishly apart. A girl like you must inherit miracles which age alone reveals. So now indirectly he is pointing out, so you have to marry this old man so that you can get something new, you can yield something new. Then Sidi says, everything you say, Bale, seems wise to me. Baroka says, yesterday's wine alone is strong and blooded, child, and though the Christian's holy book denies the truth of this, old wine thrives best within a new bottle. So this the here also Baroka contradicts the Christian belief. So now the point is Baroka openly asks her, you please marry me so that we can do wonders together. I am strong, I am the leader, you are beautiful and young, together we can make a new life. So this statement convinces Sidi like anything. Without a word, she sits on the bed of Baroka. Sidi yields to him. Baroka seduces Sidi. So earlier, Baroka has told lie to Sadiku that he has lost his manhood. And also he warned her, it is a secret, you should not reveal it to anyone. It is said about women, so they are known for spreading rumors very fast. If you want to spread something fast, you have to do one thing. That is, you call a person, I am going to tell you a secret, don't reveal it to anyone. If you say that, definitely that person will ensure the message reaches everyone. So knowing the mind of Sadiku, Baroka has told a lie that he has lost his manhood. So he expected she will go and convey it to Sidi. Sidi, since she is saying with a blind mind, she will come and ridicule him so once she comes here, he knows how to tackle a woman. Finally, Baroka seduces Sidi. It is a voluntary submission by Sidi based on the situation. She is awestruck by two things. One is Baroka is going to print her images which will be going across the world. Earlier in the magazine only there are three pictures of Sidi for which she is very much impressed. For many days she is enjoying her beauty. Whereas when he says your face will be going across the world, she is very much impressed and she surrenders herself to Baroka. So the other side, Lakun and Sadiku are eagerly awaiting the arrival of Sidi because she went for many time, she did not return. Then suddenly Sidi comes crying. Then when they ask what happened, then she reveals that Baroka has seduced her. So then Lakun asks, "Are you not chaste?" Then she does not say anything. Then Sadeko, she understands the game of Baroka. Immediately she has to adapt to the situation. Then she says, "Whatever has happened is good. So my husband is the best husband for you," like that she is trying to convey. Then at that time Lakun is shocked and he makes a statement like this: "Oh heavens, strike me dead. Earth, open up and swallow Lakun, for he no longer has the wish to live. Let the lightning fall and shrivel me to dust and ashes." Sometimes in Tamil culture people say, Talayla idi villa, like that. Like that, the Lakun says, the earth, please open me and open and swallow me, like that. See, Lakun does not want to live at that time. So now Sidi is crying like anything, but suddenly Lakun realizes the situation and he offers to marry her without bride price. So now look at the statement made by Lakun. Lakun says, "My love is selfless, the love of spirit, not of flesh. Dear Sidi, we shall forget the past. This great misfortune touches not the treasure of my love, but you will agree it is only fair that we forget the bride price totally, since you no longer can be called a maid." So this is the place where the true mind of Lakun comes out. So far, Lakun has been saying he's a straightforward person, he's the honest person. But now he says, "I hereafter I can need not pay the bride price because you cannot be called as a virgin or a maid. Here here is my hand. If one if on these terms you'll be my cherished wife, we'll take an oath between us there that this shall stay a secret to our dying days." Now he says that, okay, I will not reveal this to anyone. You also need not reveal it to anyone. So I will marry you. So now Lakun is ready to marry Sidi, though she is seduced by Baroka. Then Sidi leaves without a word and just he is worried. Then he requests Sadeko, "Please go there because she should not take any wrong decision. You please go there," like that she requests. Based on the request of Lakun, Sadeko goes towards the house of Sidi to know what is happening. Then Lakun is left alone on the stage. He talks to himself. "And now I know I am the biggest fool that ever walked this earth. There are women to be found in every town or village in these parts, and every one a virgin. But I obey my books. Man takes the fallen woman by the hand, and ever after they live happily." Please make a note of it. When Sidi was here, he told her that with all the heart he is ready to take her as wife. Whereas now he says, "Now I am the fool. There are many chaste girls, whereas I have promised to marry this girl. This also exposes the ugly mind of Lakun. So indirectly, the writer points out that the West just pretend that they are good, but inwardly they are bad. They have their own agenda for each and everything. When these two are talking, Lakun and Sadiku, a group of mummers come. Mummers means a group of dancers who perform at the time of marriage. Lakun says she is ready for marriage, but at the same time he needs time. He says like this, Heaven help us, I am not impatient. Surely she can wait a day or two at least. There is the asking to be done. Asking means in Christianity, in the church they will be making statement, and then both people have to give their consent, and then I have to hire a praise singer, and such number of ceremonies must firstly be performed. Here, one more important thing is Lakun strongly believes that since he has offered to marry Sidi, she is getting ready for the marriage, but at the same time she needs 1 or 2 days time at least. Then Sadeko informs him that Sidi is getting ready for the marriage. For that only he replies like this. Then Lakun calls Sadeko as goddess of malicious gossip. So now everything went wrong because of the gossip made by Sadeko. That is the accusation of Lakun towards Sadeko. When Sadiku and Lakun are talking, Sidi comes out in a wedding dress. Now, whom she is going to marry? Is she going to marry Lakun, who is large-heartedly accepting her in spite of her unchaste nature, or will she marry Baroka? That is the question that arises in everybody's mind. So normally I ask my students, as a friend of Sidi, what will you advise her? Will you ask her to marry Baroka, or will you ask her to marry Lakon? This is the question normally that is asked to every student. Students used to come with so many responses. So now, when Sidi comes, she hands him a box. It looks like a gift that was already given by Lakun to Sidi. She hands over him the box and other gifts. She calls him as a book nourished shrimp. Then she tells him that at 60 you'll be 10 years dead. Then Lakun says, I shall protect you from yourself. So now it is very clear. She says that I am going to marry Baroka. Then it is a shock for Lakun, and Lakun says, so at the age of 16 you are behaving which you should not. He says that I shall protect you from yourself. You are mad. You do not know what is right and wrong. So I am going to protect you from yourself. Then finally, Sidi invites him for her marriage. Probably this is the worst thing that can happen for a man who is loving someone. When the loved girl comes and invites the lover for her own marriage with another man, his heart will be broken. Similarly, Lakun's heart is broken because of the invitation extended by Sidi. Then Sidi seeks the blessings of Sadeku and addresses her mother of brides. Then she goes off the stage. Now Lakun is left alone on the stage. The story part gets over. So now, according to the drama, the East conquers the West. East is represented by Baroka, the West is represented by Lakun, and the jewel is none other than Sidi, the 16-year-old girl. Finally, the West is defeated by the East by the choice of the jewel. Then a few more facts. Sadiku is called as Daikya's feet. Daikya's feet, a person who can dance well, a person who can run fast. Daikya is a kind of deer. So now Sadiku is referred that Sango is the god of lightning and thunder. So now from this, what we have to understand. So the East is always superior to the West. East may have so many problems, In spite of that, East is the best. The possible themes of this play is East versus West, tradition versus modernity. Again, tradition is represented by Baroka and modernity is represented by Lakunle, and subjugation of women. How women are not given importance in the society. When polygamy is in practice, the women will be the sufferers. There won't be any end to the marriage of the male if he is rich. As a result, a female will not receive the attention what she deserves as a husband, as a wife, and from the husband. So she will be considered as a person who is giving birth to children. That's all. So, dear friends, with this, the discussion on Wole Soyinka's Lion and the Jewel is over. It is one of the landmark plays regarding the East-West conflict. Though the East projects itself as the superior in terms of language, in terms of religion, in terms of civilization, in this play, Wole Soyinka points out that the East is superior, whereas the West is inferior to the East. Of course, he accepts that there are some shortcomings. In spite of that, East is the best thing for a person who belongs to the Orientals. Thank you. All the best.